Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris. I'm with Mobile Auto Works, and today we're working on a 2012 GMC Yukon XL. If that sounds familiar, that's because I was just here in my last video. If you saw it, I serviced the front brakes, and turns out that the rear brakes need to be replaced as well. So today I'm going to show you guys how to do the rear brakes on a 2012 GMC Yukon. It's a very similar process. This time I sourced the parts for them. So I'm going to unpack all my tools here. I'm going to move over there and we're going to get right to work on this one. Got the new Hercules Ultra Torque, the big dog. So I'm trying out a new microphone setup today. I'm going to go ahead and apologize for the wind. I don't know what it is, but every time I come here, the wind is crazy. I'm hoping this new microphone setup will help with that, but if it doesn't, once again, I'm sorry. So we're going to start with chalking the front tires. Safety first, right? Since we're lifting the rear of this vehicle, we don't want it to roll down this hill, so that's why we chalk the tires. This time, unfortunately, I am going to be on the blacktop, so this is why we have these wood planks here for the jacks. I'm going to do my best to make this one short and sweet. If you want more details, check out my last video when I did the front brakes on this one. So this is my first time using this new impact gun. Feels a lot like that Snap-on one. Just saying. Shout out to Hercules and Harbor Freight. And to all the haters, don't be hating. Harbor Freight makes good tools, man. That Icon lineup is pretty sweet, and you can't beat those prices. It looks like we have a couple 13mm bolts and I think an 18mm bolt. All right, first things first, let's check these brake pads out. This is what I like to do. They look about the same shape, width, length. However, that's deceiving. So if you look here, it looks like the top of this brake pad, even though they look like the same pad from here, this one's a little different. This tang here is quite a bit longer. That's interesting because I think they're right. So yeah, interesting. These pads fit in there just fine. So in this situation, I think there is a little bit of a difference, but I still believe that these are probably the right pads. It's paying attention to those little details that sometimes matter the most to save time, to get things done on the first shot. The next thing we're going to do is double check these rotors, because if I have to run back to the parts store, I want to know that right now. So as you can see, they look about the same. So now I'm going to remove this caliper bracket. I will say that these rear caliper brackets on these GM models can be very difficult to remove if it's the first time. They Loctite these in. I almost skipped a step. You want to test these calipers early on in the brake job. And that's good news. We already got this one going in. Feels great. Two 18mm bolts. I believe these brakes have been done before because these are not fighting me as much as they normally do. You can see the Loctite's pretty much gone on these. Usually there's a big slab of yellow Loctite all the way on these threads. And I'm telling you, these things, you can spend all your strength and a lot of time just getting these bolts out. As you can see, this hardware just wants to fall out of there. It's in there pretty loose. What you can do to save it is bend these out. And stay in there a little better. But I think we're just going to go ahead and replace the hardware on these ones. Since they were grinding, you can see there's a lot of rust on here. And we're going to have to make sure that underneath the hardware here isn't super rusty, which it looks okay. There are no bolts holding this caliper onto the hub here, but one thing you want to look out for is, depending on how long these brakes have been on the vehicle, there's e-brake shoes behind this rotor here, and if it rusts really bad back here, it can be a big pain in the butt to remove this. You have to work it off slow with the hammer and pulling on it and stuff like that. Otherwise, the other option, if you really can't get it out, is to come back here and adjust the parking brake shoes so that it closes them in so it can come off a little easier. I like to work it off like this. I'll kind of hit it towards me, and then I'll pull on this side, and then if it kind of gets crooked, I'll hit backwards and pull on this side, and then come back over here and just kind of work it off like that. As you can see, it's starting to come off here. I can feel it's getting hung up on those shoes a little bit. Like I said, you can see in here there's a big rust lip, and that's where it was getting hung up. A lot of times these brake shoes will fall off when you pull the rotor off. These ones are still intact, so that's a good sign. Moving on here, we're gonna prep these rotors. We're gonna double check them first, make sure they're exactly the same. Same diameter, same shape of a hat. We're also gonna make sure that these areas look the same. Now, when you have these rear rotors that have the e-brake like this, you're going to want to make sure you clean the inside of here too. Something to note on this is whoever turned this surface did a very quick job on it, so it's kind of like a record. You can drag your nail across here and feel all that. It's not such a big deal with e-brake shoes, but if you have drum brakes in the back of a vehicle and you see a surface like this and put drums on, this will make noise. If that's the primary source of your braking is the drum and the shoe design, this will make a ton of noise. So in that situation, if this was a drum system and I saw this, I would be driving back to the parts store and returning these and exchanging them for ones that did not look like this. Grab the outside of the rotor. Sure is fighting me. Clean this side, get all that oil off there. Now we're gonna prep these pads up. I'm gonna grab our ceramic lubricant here. Again, touching the outside of the brake pad. We're gonna apply this here just a little bit. If you apply too much, this grease can actually collect dust, brake debris and stuff like that. And if it builds up on there, it can actually cause the opposite effect of allowing these to move freely. It'll actually, over time, cause them to not move freely because you've put too much on here. So just a thin layer is good enough. We're gonna apply the disc brake quiet. Just a little bit on the back, directly on the top. You can see these pads say outer on these two and inner on these two, so we know where those pads go on the vehicle. We're going to pull these slide pins out, apply lubricant on one side, stick it in and twist. Same with this one. They're pretty lubricated, but I always like to go through and add some more just so that I know for sure that I did it. Coming over here on the back side. I know it's hard for you guys to see this because I'm on a chest cam, but this is where the bolts go. You just stick them in this way. Pretty self-explanatory. And today I'm not using as many power tools. Using more hand tools today just because I'm in that mood. One thing I really like about these wrenches is you can see I'm hitting right here. Having these flex head gives me just enough room where I can swing past it. Should get it nice and tight. A lot of times I'll come through here and grind this down if there's rust in there. This one's pretty good, so I'm not going to bother this time, but if you see that there's a lot of rust or if the pads come out really hard where you have to hit them out with a hammer and a pry bar, then you'll probably want to go in there and address that with a grinding wheel or a cutoff wheel or something. This hardware fits a lot better than the stuff we took out, so I'm glad we did that. Now we're going to install the outer pad here. We're going to install the inner pad on this side. There we go. You're going to take your caliper here. Make sure that your brake hose isn't kinked, because if you stick it on like this, right? See how that brake hose kinks up like that? It's going to restrict the brake fluid and cause your caliper to lock up and not release. So always double check that your brake hose is very relaxed when you stick the calipers back on. I'm going to come back over here with this 13 and tighten these up. And just like that, we got one side done. So now on this vehicle, we torque these wheels to 140 foot-pounds. Gonna set it to 140, lock it in. Gonna grab our lug nuts here, start them by hand, a couple threads each one. Come back through with our impact gun. Remember, you're gonna want to shake this just to make sure it goes up and seats where it's supposed to. Crisscross pattern. Now once the tire touches the ground, enough where it won't spin if you try to torque it, come through, torque it, crisscross pattern. I like to make 2 passes. And we're all torqued and ready to go. Same exact process as before. Let's knock this out. You can see this pad was grooved, cracking. That's a sign of overheating. Just like last time. Push on it while we ratchet it. And there it is. Success. So what we're doing here is we're just trying to clean up all the rust. I know this wind has got to be crazy in this microphone. It's just been so windy today. This one's probably pretty hot. Luckily for me, after 20 years of doing this, I can't really feel my fingertips. Now we're just going to come back through here and lubricate these slide pins up. Sometimes there's a difference in these slide pins. Some of them will have a rubber grommet or bushing here. Some of them will be a little bit different length. Just make note of where you pulled them out from. This one's going to be the top one. Or actually, this one's the bottom one, I think. This one's the top one. We'll see if it wants to go in there. And just like that, saved another caliper for this customer. See how these e-brake shoes are missing? That's something I'll let the customer know about. And just like that, we're finished with this brake job. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider subscribing, leave a comment, turn on those notifications, and I'm going to wrap this up, put this wheel on, torque it, and get on out of here. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the next one.